the starting point
Yes.
is to write a dbt schema.yaml file.
Yes.
So if, for each model in dbt, you can have one of these YAML files, which is basically documentation for the model, and you describe all of the columns that are in the model, and you maybe add a description, and you can write some tests as well.
Yeah. So which we, for example, have here. So this is already like for the other ones. So for everyone who's a little bit familiar with dbt but never really touched this, so this is like how you can configure a model already. But as you can see here, for example, so I, for example, just removed it because it was already there. So but we now want to just recreate it to show the whole process. So I mean, this is like step one. It's like, so if you already have it, so if you, let's say, generated or even created by hand, some people do this. So like a configuration of your model, which is like describing how this whole model works, what kind of columns you have and so on. So then it's pretty easy for you to extend it. And but we now want also like to show, okay, how you can, in the end, generate one. And so there are different ways how you can do this. There are also like some packages around. So I think even dbt has one by themselves where you can at least like generate the configuration for a specific kind of model. But what we want to do is like we want to use the Lightdash CLI that you have developed for that, because this supports us with that.
That's right. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, let's do it. So you should check that you've got.
Yeah.
I think you have node and npm already. You can run this command and
try. Yep.
Okay. And npm. Nice. Looking good. And so now you've got that. You just need to run this install command. This is going to install a new command line tool. And we're going to use this to generate the YAML file from scratch. It's just a bit tedious to write. And we already know all the columns because they exist in your warehouse. So why not just pull them down?
And so if you really have a very simple one, then of course like it might not sound like so much work, but I can definitely tell you. So I mean, this already is quite extensive model, so to write everything by hand. And I would always like think about the future where you might have to update things, and then of course like the work starts. So okay, that looks, I guess, looks good.
So we could try doing Lightdash. Dash V to see if it's installed.
Okay.
Or you could just type Lightdash.
Oh, that's all right.
Go for it.
Always check the version.
Nice. Looks good. This warning at the top is actually new. We need to fix this, but it's not going to affect.
Yeah. A little bit in the future.
You're in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, and so now, and it's funny you mentioned that there was good coverage of the documentation. That's because I auto-generated it before I sent it to you. But to generate your GitHub pull request, all you need to do is type Lightdash generate. Okay. And then you can select one model using the normal dbt model selection syntax. So you do -s, that's it, you know it. And then GitHub pull requests, which is the name of the model. And what this relies on is that you've materialized this table.
Yeah.
So it's going to look in the warehouse.
Yeah. So I did a dbt run before, so this is why it should work.
Excellent.
So I guess it checks it now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go.
Nice. I generated the file.
Yeah.
And so if you take a look, you now have all of the columns documented, and these are going to be your dimensions. So these are kind of different ways that we're going to cut our data when we write our metrics. So there's no metrics in there yet.
Yeah. We already have some dimensions. So this is like, I mean, this is like the thing that we were referring to, like the let's say the meta tag that you can have in a configuration where you can usually, I think you can put just anything in there. Because like dbt doesn't really do something with it, but you can now do something with it because like you can just read it out and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the meta is just kind of like a free for all that was introduced into dbt by Taylor over at Meltano now, and it was this great idea. The idea that there are things that dbt cares about, you know, the column name, its description, if you have any tests. But there might be things that other tools or just internally you would like to attach that meta information to the column.
Yeah.
And so when we started Lightdash, we just decided to inject it in there, and it kind of clicked with people because you're writing the column description. It's also a good time to maybe say the format. So, is it in dollars or euros, or does it have 2 decimal places or 5? And that kind of stuff that's not really relevant at the modeling time now when you're doing all the business logic, but it will matter a lot on the visualization layer.